Hey, what's up, y'all? It's AJ, and welcome back to another episode of my beginner content creation series, where I'm kind of breaking down everything beginners need to know to get started. In today's video, we're going to talk about one of the most important aspects of content creation, and that is editing. Editing is where your story comes to life. It's not about fancy effects or expensive software. It's about telling a story and creating a connection with your audience. It's about getting the message and the emotion behind your art. So let's get into it. So before we get into the computer, I just want you guys to think about editing not in a complex way, but in a really simple way, like scissors and tape. You're cutting out all the awkward silences, the fluff, the weird stares, and putting together all the good parts in a way that feels natural. I actually want to say that sometimes I actually leave things in that might feel a little bit awkward just because it feels a lot more authentic to me. The whole point is just knowing when to cut and how to transition smoothly, and that develops over time. Once you understand this, editing becomes a lot less intimidating. You're no longer focused on trying to make the craziest edit because not every story needs that. The story influences what feels natural to the eye, and we're going to talk more about that later. So your video style determines how you edit. This is your unique approach to creatively telling a story. But video types fall into certain categories. Educational videos, that's going to be subject-focused A-roll with B-roll for emphasis. Entertainment videos, they're going to have a lot of fast cuts and pacing that matches the beat of the music and the mood of the music. And documentary style might be a mix of conversational A-roll with B-roll for actually what's being referenced. It all depends on the different video type. There are tons of video types out there, and some are even hybrids or combinations of others. But your video style is based on what you consume and how you best believe your message can be conveyed. Knowing your video style as well as your video type is going to help you make better decisions about pacing, transitions, and overall vibe. One of the first steps to a good edit happens before you even start, and this is staying organized. Create a folder for your project and save everything in there. This is going to be for your footage, your music, your sound effects, and even your exported files. Trust me, this is going to save you so much time and energy later. Whatever system works best for you within the file is fine, but I like to start off at least with one folder for all my video and another folder for all my audio, just to keep things clean. Since I'm the director, camera op, talent, and editor, I know what each file is, so I don't spend a lot of time naming them except for my finals. But if you're working in a group, it's actually good practice to do that so that you can have an easy way to locate and reuse the files. Now, let's get into software. When I first started out, I was using iMovie because it was really simple and easy to get the basics down. Then I moved over to CapCut because I started making a lot of content on TikTok, which is vertical format, and they had a lot of really cool transitions and easy effects you can just drag and drop. Now I use Final Cut Pro because I learned a lot of the tips and tricks that make it really useful for high-end editing, and I'm able to add just a bunch of different creative elements to it that I never could before with the other two softwares. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It takes a while to learn your software, and everyone's always going to argue about who's the best and why, but at the end of the day, there is no perfect editing software. Use the one that works for you right now, the one that lets you get your message across. That's the best one. Because at the end of the day, no one cares about what software you use, they only care about the final result. So focus now on learning your software and building your skills. When you first start editing your project, you actually have to think about where your video is going to live afterwards. When you first open up your software, the first thing it's probably going to ask you is about your dimensions and the format that you would like. You guys probably know this already, but YouTube is the best in landscape. That's 1920 by 1080 for HD or 3840 by 2160 for 4K. And for vertical formats, you just flip it around like Instagram and Shorts. That's going to be 1080 by 1920 for HD and 2160 by 3840 for 4K. Additionally, the length of your edit actually matters as well. People don't typically spend more than 1 minute on any one post on Instagram or Shorts, so it's best to keep your stuff there under a minute. But YouTube actually supports long-form creators, so it actually might be good if you have a longer edit there. No matter what you use, you have to understand the timeline. This is where all the magic happens. It's a visual representation of your video, showing your clips, audio, and effects laid out in an order that they're actually going to play. Think of it like your workspace. It's where you cut, arrange, and layer everything that's going to help you build your final edit. Every software is different, but they all have some similar setup to this one. You'll have a location where you can import your clips, a section where you can edit those clips, and another where you can adjust the more technical details of each one. Typically, items above have a high priority and are layered on top of items below. Your editing software also has some tools that makes your life easier, like the scissor tool that lets you cut two clips into separate pieces. You can also adjust the audio levels directly, and you can add transitions for smoother cuts. One of the best ways to improve your edit is to cut out any fluff. Any awkward moments or quiet stares, things like that you actually don't need because it doesn't actually add any value. I start my process by finding the best take of each line, and I base that based off my delivery, and then I cut anything else I don't want to use. Here are some cuts that might help you out in the beginning. Match cuts allow you to seamlessly transition from one angle to another. J cut lets the audio start before the clip, and L cuts allow it to continue after the clip changes. These are found in every video type, and they might make your edit feel just a little bit more put together. Now what really helps is that the more you get good at this, the easier it is to actually see your edit before you even sit down at a computer, and you can begin this process called scripting. Scripting is like having a roadmap for your video. You write down every line and idea that you might have within a section, and this helps you as a guide. This keeps you focused and helps you make decisions based on your vision. And this only gets stronger the more that you edit and the more that you watch really great editors. I like to start with a loose outline, and then I'll add specific lines and other ideas just to keep everything clean. And I always leave room for just a couple of things that I can say naturally so it feels more authentic and genuine. One of the best ways to improve is to watch edits that you admire. Pause, break them down, rewind, go back and try and figure out how you can do them in a creative way. Even if it's not perfect, you might create something that you never thought you could have done before, and now you can use that for your next edit. Editing and making videos isn't about perfection. It's about telling a story that resonates with your audience and finding a way to get your message across. Start simple, practice often, and just have fun with it. Great is better than perfect. As always, I appreciate y'all being here. If you have any questions, let me know down in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.